today's training. The title of today's training is Double Your Forex Profits with Half the Effort, and I'm going to teach you how to do that by showing you a simple method that takes less than 20 seconds to apply to your own trading. Now, I've had over 3,000 people register to attend today's training, but sadly there's only enough capacity in the room for 1,000 people, so sadly a lot of people are going to be locked out, and we will be at maximum capacity with 1,000 people online. Now, the interesting thing is, of the 1,000 people online right now, statistically 983 of you are making a mistake every single time you trade that is causing you to miss out on significant profits in your trading, or possibly even completely fail as a direct result of the mistake that you're making. Now, before we get into the training, let me just ask you a quick question, and this is where I'm going to crash the entire webinar because I'm going to attempt to switch from my webcam over to my monitor. There you go, it worked. Hopefully you can see that. Now, if you were sat in front of your trading platform and you saw a chart like this, would you like to know, with just one quick glance and with a high degree of confidence, which direction the price was most likely to move next? Would you like to know which way it was likely to go next? Use that chat box that you can see underneath the presentation screen, so please use that. Type yes if you'd like to be able to do that. Do you think that would be a pretty valuable skill to have, to be able to quickly glance at any chart and know with a high degree of probability where the price was likely to go next? Okay, a couple of yeses, lots of yeses, lots of people saying yes. Okay, now what about if you looked at the pair that you usually trade? So maybe that's the euro, US dollar, whatever your favorite pair is. Would you like to know, again, with a high degree of confidence, when it was going to be ranging sideways so that you could stay out and not get caught in a flat, choppy, sideways market? Would you like that skill? And again, please put a yes into the chat box. Would you like to know when the market was going to be ranging so that you could avoid those unprofitable conditions? Imagine how many fewer losses you would suffer if you could do that. So, lots more yeses coming in. That's good. I would be a little bit worried if you were saying no to these questions, by the way. Okay, I've got one last question for you. Would you like to know in advance when the market was going to be trending? And again, please type a quick yes into the chat box. Would you like to know where and when the trends were going to happen so that you could jump on them as early as possible and then ride them for maximum profits? Is that a skill that you would like to have? Can you imagine how much more profitable you would be if you could do that? Oh, we've got lots of yeses coming in again. I think it's a fairly resounding yes right across the board, so you are in good company. You agree it would be invaluable to have the ability to do those things. Well, if you can't do those things at the moment, then it means you are definitely making the mistake that I just mentioned at the start, and it is costing you dearly. Right now, you're doing something wrong in your trading that is preventing you from having those individual skills. Now, the good news is, I promise by the end of this webinar, you will know a spectacularly simple trick that you can implement immediately in your trading that will allow you to do all three of those things. Now, I know that's a fairly big claim, but if you can commit to staying with me until the end of this webinar, that's what you're going to get. You will learn how to identify at a glance which way the price on any chart is most likely to go next so that you can increase your win rate and be right more often than you're wrong. You can win more often. You'll learn how to spot trends just as they're starting so that you can get in nice and early and increase your average profit per trade and just get bigger wins. You'll increase the amount of money that you make on your winning trades. And you'll also learn how to avoid the choppy range-bound markets so that you can avoid getting whipsawed and taking any unnecessary losses. What you learn here will transform you as a trader, and you will walk away from this more confident about forex trading than you've ever been before. You will know that you can finally beat the market. You'll be buzzing with excitement about what you'll be capable of achieving after today's training. It really is going to be the most rewarding hour of forex training you've ever had, and it's so simple and uncomplicated that you'll kick yourself for not using this sooner. Like I said, it takes less than 20 seconds to apply this to your trading. So if I can show you all of that, if I can deliver that to you, do you agree this will be a worthwhile investment of your time? Again, please type yes into the chat box if this sounds appealing to you, if you want to learn how to do this for yourself. I want to get some commitment from you because, like I said, over 3,000 people registered for this training, but only 1,000 of you can fit into the room. So I want to make sure that you are here because you're serious about improving your trading and your trading results. I'd hate to think that spaces are being taken up in this by anyone who wasn't really interested. So please put a yes into that box to let me know you are committed and you are serious about learning what I have to show you. And here's why this is so important to you right now. The Forex market has grown in size by 32.5% in the last 3 years. That's an increase of almost a third. So that pie is getting bigger and bigger, and it's never been easier to take a slice of your fair share. It's the biggest market in the world with the most liquidity, the easiest access, fantastic volatility, consistent trends, and more opportunities than any other market in history. It's literally never been easier to profit from Forex. Yet the failure rate amongst amateur traders remains at around about 95%. As the market gets easier to trade, the number of profitable traders is not increasing proportionally. People are still struggling and failing just like they always have, despite more money being available and the market actually being easier to trade. And that's because the techniques and the strategies that the vast majority of traders are being taught are dead wrong. And anyone who continues to trade like the crowd trade will continue to get the dismal results that the crowd get. You probably already know this for yourself because you've probably used the techniques that are taught to the crowd. You've probably tried something similar to everyone else in the past, and your results were probably not profitable. You got the same results that everyone else gets. A tiny handful of people who know the correct methods, like the trick that I'm about to teach you, are at a supreme advantage because there's trillions of dollars available every day and very few people with the knowledge and the skills to be able to share in that colossal pie. Winning traders live off the losses of losing traders. So do you want to be the sucker that's funding someone else's luxury lifestyle, or do you want to be one of the elite few taking money off the losers who don't know what they're doing? That's why this is so important for you to pay attention to. Trading is a zero-sum game. You're either a winner or you're a loser. There is no in between. So you've got to pick which side of the camp you want to be on. Now, let me very quickly introduce myself so that you know why I am uniquely positioned to teach you this and why you won't find anyone else anywhere in the market with such an unusual and valuable wealth of information to pass on to you. Hopefully, you already know my name is James Edward, but what you may not know about me is I'm an ex-Royal Marine Commando. I spent 10 years in Her Majesty's Armed Forces in a very elite specialist unit doing the sort of covert, sneaky stuff that means that the super wealthy in the world will pay good money to have you protecting them. And so when I left the Marines, I was poached to become a bodyguard for some of the wealthiest and most powerful people on the planet. I looked after billionaires on the Forbes rich list, members of royalty, and of course the odd celebrity. That is a genuine picture of me when I was Elton John's bodyguard, and I'm allowed to show you that because these are in the public domain. They were snapped by paparazzi while we were in the south of France, and they've been posted all over the gossip magazines. I can't show you the pictures of my big clients. Most of the people that I work for are the very highest echelons of the secretive world elite, and I've signed confidentiality clauses and would probably find myself permanently disappeared if I gave out too much information about them. But it was my association with these ultra wealthy, ultra powerful and very secretive people that led me to uncovering the technique that I'm about to reveal to you. It involves a billionaire hedge fund manager, a reclusive multimillionaire, and the head foreign exchange trader at an international bank in London. So the term insider secrets really doesn't do this story justice. But I won't go into any more detail about that right now because it will all become apparent as I walk you through this training, and you'll see how all the pieces slot together into what I know will be a definitive turning point in your trading career from now on. Now, let's run a quick survey. First of all, how long have you been trading? And if I press this, you should now see a survey box on the right hand side of the screen with that question and some buttons. So click the answer which best describes you. And this is anonymous, by the way, so please go ahead, tick one of those answers. No one else is going to see what you've said, and I'll just give you a moment to let everyone read those and then make their selection. And actually, while we're doing that first question, let me activate the second poll. So you should see another set of answers underneath that, and this time it's just a simple yes or no. And the question is trading your primary income? In other words, do you make your living from trading? Is this what pays for your lifestyle? And again, I'll just give you a moment to make your selection, give everyone a chance to be involved. 2 questions: how long have you been trading, and do you earn a living from it? And make sure you tick a button for each of those questions. Okay, that should be enough time. They are quite simple questions, so let me click this and that should populate the results. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully you can see that as well on the right hand side. And that's interesting. The majority of people here have been trading for longer than 3 years, and yet most of you are not earning a living from it. Can you see those results over on the right hand side? Now that should hit home in a very stark and frightening reality for everyone. When you were first attracted to trading, you were probably hoping to get rich, make a lot of money with not much effort, and do it rather quickly. Am I right? And be honest, you thought trading was going to be easier than it is, and you thought you'd be making a lot more money. Right? Now, I know that's certainly what I thought when I first got started. Okay, so what's the problem? You've got the intelligence, you've got the determination. Most of you have stuck with this for over 3 years or more. That's what you've just said in that survey. So even though you haven't experienced that success yet, you've still stuck with this. So you absolutely have got the drive and the motivation to keep striving for this. So what's holding you back? What is preventing you from achieving success? I bet you've never struggled with anything in your life as much as you've struggled with trading, am I right? And therein lays the key defining insight that this training today is going to deal with and solve for you. Trading looks so simple, and yet something is missing. There is something that you haven't quite grasped, something that you haven't understood or haven't seen. Something is being kept from you. That one key element that you need to discover in order to make that breakthrough. Raise your hand, or better still, type a yes into the chat box because I can't see your hands. I don't know why I just said that. Type yes if you've ever asked yourself that question. What am I missing? What don't I know? What do they know that I don't? What are they doing differently that I'm not doing? And be honest, in your frustration, have you ever wondered those things and asked yourself those questions? Well, guess what? I asked the same questions. I have been where you are. I've experienced the same frustrations. I came into trading believing all the adverts and the promises, and I thought it was going to be quick and easy. I was planning which car I was going to buy and where I'd take my family on holiday with all my newfound wealth. And then I hit the wall and failed, and then I failed some more. And I asked the same frustrated questions that you've asked. But do you know what I did differently from you? I didn't just ask myself the question. I asked the head foreign exchange trader at an international bank in London. And after I asked them, I asked the owner and the manager of a hedge fund in the Cayman Islands. And what they told me and showed me meant that instead of spending 3 years or 5 years or 10 years going round and round in circles like every other struggling amateur trader, I went from zero to full-time trader, managing my own private fund with investors, working from home and making more money than I've ever made in my life. I experienced a meteoric rise to success. And this is the importance of how this will affect you. If you understand this, it can transform your trading virtually overnight. If you don't understand this, you are doomed to continue with the same miserable failure that all the other amateurs are festering in. And I can see some questions about how I got these insider contacts. You're jumping ahead of me. I am going to explain, just give me a chance. I have got slides prepared for this part. I was bodyguarding a very reclusive and private millionaire. And millionaire doesn't really sound right because he's worth about 700 million, so he's not quite a billionaire. And we were in the Caribbean off the Bahamas, and on the yacht next door to us was the billionaire hedge fund manager John Henry, who happens to be one of the most successful Forex traders of all time. It was probably the most important and pivotal encounter of my life. There was just something about this man that really caught my attention and triggered a burning motivation in me. He was a billionaire, and he achieved that from just trading the markets. He didn't own a massive corporation or need to employ thousands of workers or any of that traditional empire building. And I thought if I could achieve just a fraction of what he's done, then I would be wildly successful. So he motivated me and got me hooked on Forex trading. But I was just a normal person, the same as you are. I may have looked after the wealthiest people in the world, but I wasn't one of them. So I went about learning to trade the same way that you have. And I tried to learn to trade using the information on the internet. And I had the shock of my life. I was expecting to be able to quit my job in a couple of months and retire to a tropical beach somewhere, but instead, Forex unrelentingly beat me up, it spat me out, and it left me reeling in shock, wondering what on earth had just happened. I learned the hard way, just like you have, that trading can be the most brutal, unforgiving environment for ill-prepared beginners. And believe me, I was ill-prepared. I spent time in forums, I tried all the different systems, I tried different time frames, I jumped from system to system and theory to theory, and gradually I descended into a spiral of utter confusion and frustration. And the more I tried, the harder trading seemed to get, and the worse my results got. And I know you'll be able to relate to that because it's probably almost perfectly describing your story as well. Every single trader goes through the same frustrating journey. We all do the same thing. And that's when I asked that question. What am I missing? What do they know that I don't? And that's when the reclusive multimillionaire that I was working for introduced me to the head foreign exchange trader at the International Bank in London and said, ask them for some advice. They owe me a favour, see what they can do for you. So I did. And after I got to know them, they said to me, let me introduce you to a hedge fund manager. Ask them for some advice and see what they can do for you. So I was given, direct from the horse's mouth, the real truth about trading Forex that completely smashed the myths and the misconceptions that all amateur traders believe. It explained why my results had been so catastrophically bad and why I consistently failed to attain any kind of success, no matter what system or strategy that I used. The bank trader and the hedge fund manager taught me the missing link. What do you trade? What do you look at when you sit down to trade? A chart, right? You'll have the chart or the pair that you want to trade, and you'll have your trend lines and moving averages and MACD and support and resistance and Fibonacci and all the other indicators you like. It doesn't matter which one you're using. Where's the price going to go next? Or where is it more likely to go? And this isn't a rhetorical question. I'm genuinely asking you. When you see a chart with that price information, what is it telling you about where the price is most likely to go next? You don't know. It's impossible to know because that individual pair chart is almost worthless information. It reveals practically nothing about the market. People trade Forex the same way that they trade stocks and commodities, which kind of makes sense because the charts look the same, don't they? They all contain price bars made up of the open, the high, the low, and the close. The Euro-US dollar chart at face value looks like this chart for oil. If you trade the Euro-US dollar chart or any other chart, that is the first fundamental mistake that you are making. Forex is not like any other market, and the charts are not like all the other charts. If you were to trade a stock or something like gold or oil, all the price information that you need about that instrument is contained on that chart. So you have got everything there in front of you and you can trade it. If you want to trade the Euro-US dollar, that chart has almost no information on it that you need. What is the Euro-US dollar chart? Is the Euro-US dollar a thing like oil or gold? No. It's the exchange rate between the euro currency and the US dollar currency. The euro is one thing and the US dollar is another thing. They are two separate markets in their own right. And the euro US dollar chart is simply telling us the exchange rate if you traded one for the other. That's the same as having a fictional gold oil chart. Gold is one market, oil is another, and the gold oil chart would be telling you the exchange rate if you wanted to swap one for the other. If you're going to try and predict where the price on our fictional gold oil chart was going to go next, would you look at that chart? Or would you look at the gold market first and then the oil market and see which one was going up and which one was going down? If the gold market was going up because the price of gold was increasing and the oil market was going down because the oil price was falling, which direction do you think the gold oil chart would be going? Can you see how that makes sense? Yes? You'd rather buy the rising commodity and sell the falling commodity. So when you trade the euro US dollar, what you should do is look at the euro market first and then the US dollar market and see which is going up and which is going down. And that way, you've got a better idea of where the exchange rate between the pair is likely to go next. You see, the Forex market is not made up of individual charts. It's made up of individual currencies. There are 8 major world currencies: the euro, US dollar, the British pound, the yen, the Canadian dollar, the Swiss franc, the Australian dollar, and the New Zealand dollar. They are all separate markets, and when you combine them, you get the 28 different pair charts that we see. So when you look at a pair chart, you're only looking at 1/28th of the market. That's only 3.5%. Can you see why that chart has almost no valuable information on it? The majority of the information you need that is influencing that exchange rate is out here in the rest of the wider market. If you want to trade the euro US dollar, you better know what's happening on the euro out here in the real market. You better know what's happening with the US dollar. They are two separate currencies that you want to swap. So which one is strong and which one is weak? Which one is the rising asset and which is the falling asset? Now, I hope you've just had one of those aha moments. I hope that light bulb has just gone on above your head. Can you understand now why you've never been able to achieve success? Because you've been doing it wrong. No wonder you've struggled. Most people think the game is rigged against them. They think the big boys or the market makers are out to get them, and they manipulate the price and they hunt their stops. People think they, in inverted commas, stack the odds against the little guy, and that's why retail traders find it so hard to make a profit. Now, when you sit down like I did and you talk with the head foreign exchange trader and a market maker and hedge fund managers, they laugh when they hear those kinds of conspiracy theories. The Forex market is the most level playing field out of any market in the world. It is the least manipulated. It's the fairest market you could ever trade in. Now, some of you may immediately recall that a lot of the banks have recently been fined for price fixing in the Forex market. Now, I will address that in the Q&A at the end of this webinar. That was to do with LIBOR and was nothing like the press reported it, and it is not price manipulation as people commonly think. It didn't affect us at all, and in fact, it was quite good for us, so I'll address that in the Q&A. No one is out to get you. Forex is the easiest market in the world to profit from, if you know what you're doing. Now, of course, you can choose to believe that the big boys are out to get you, but if you believe that, then you may as well give up now, because if that was true, you wouldn't have a chance of ever succeeding. You could never win, so what are you doing here? Go and do something else. Or, more sensibly, you could just accept that the reason you've struggled until now is because you were doing the wrong thing. Now, how much of a relief is that? How liberating is that feeling? The evil banks aren't picking on you. No one is stopping you. You haven't got to fight and beat the market makers who are bigger than you with more resources. Things aren't that bad. You are just doing the wrong thing. And if you start doing the right thing, trading is going to be a whole lot easier. Are you starting to feel that hope inside you now? Can you see a brighter future for yourself? Trading is different to what you believed it was this morning. And from tomorrow, it can be a lot simpler and more profitable. I felt a huge wave of relief when I discovered this for myself, because it made me realize that I was going to be able to finally make a lot of money as a trader at last. Would you agree that this changes your perspective? Well, now that I've shown you the missing part that was holding you back, let me show you what's possible when you do things right. Have I still got your attention before I go on? Are you still with me? Just type yes into the chat box so I know that you are following along, and this is making sense. The room is still filled at maximum capacity, so I'm hoping this is all making sense and you are glad you attended. What I'm going to show you next is the really powerful part that's going to send shivers down your spine, and you'll be more excited about trading than you've ever been before. This is going to renew your enthusiasm for Forex, and you'll have that lovely feeling of anticipation and excitement that you felt when you were first attracted to trading and all the possibilities that it offers. You now know that if you want to trade a pair like the Euro US dollar, you need to know what's happening with the Euro and the US dollar as two separate instruments. So what professional traders do is they look at the individual currencies. They split the market down into the 8 major currencies and they assess each one by itself like this. Now, don't worry, I will show you how to do this effortlessly in a moment. Just bear with me while I explain the process for now. When you look at individual currencies like this, the staggering opportunity in front of you should, I hope, be obvious. You can see at a glance which currencies are strong and trending up and which ones are weak and trending down. And even when you make the cardinal mistake of trading a pair chart, you know how easy it is to profit when the pair is trending. Money just falls into your lap in a trending market, doesn't it? Well, can you imagine how much easier and how much more profitable it will be when you can find a strong currency in an uptrend and pair it against a weak currency in a downtrend? What's going to be happening on that pair chart? Can you see how powerful this is? You've got a strong currency and a weak currency, and when you pair them against one another, you've got the absolute best trend in the market. You've bought strength and you've sold weakness. You've bought the asset that's rising and you've sold the asset that's falling in value. That's the overarching fundamental principle of every trading strategy in history. Buy strength, sell weakness. And now, at last, you're going to be able to apply that properly to your Forex trading. Stop and look at this. You can see a strong currency and a weak one. So you know that pair chart is going to be trending and you can get into it and ride that trend for a profit. You can see a flat currency and another flat currency. So you know that that pair is going to be flat and you can stay away from it and avoid the losses. Have you ever wondered why some people find it so easy to trade while you find it so hard? It's because you've been locked away in a small corner of the market looking at more or less worthless information on a single pair chart. You've been trading in the dark using only 3.5% of the available information. It's no wonder you found it difficult. I've been using all of this information, 100% of what is available in the market. Of course it's going to be easier for me. I'm not more intelligent than you. I'm simply doing things right while you've been doing things wrong. I'm using 28 times more information than you. That's 2,800% more information. Of course trading is easier for me. I've got an unfair advantage compared to what you've been doing. This should be an earth-shattering revelation for you. Until now, you may have been thinking that trading was impossible. You may even have been thinking about giving up. But now, you should be seeing the truth. It should be clear to you that the unfair advantage the pros have over you is really nothing more than they look at individual currencies rather than charts. You're not at a disadvantage. The game isn't rigged against you. There is no conspiracy keeping you down. All you have to do is trade strength against weakness. And that principle is as old as the markets themselves. You just haven't been able to do it in Forex until now because you didn't have the knowledge or the tools. So you went along with the crowd and you just looked at charts like everyone else does. But from now on, everything can be different for you. It can be better. It's completely in your hands now. You have total control over how you trade. So if you could do this, would you do it? Use that chat box again, please. Type yes. I like to get some interaction with people on these trainings, otherwise I can feel like I'm just talking to a computer screen like some sort of madman. Plus, it's one thing to see this and understand it while you're watching the presentation and agree with me, but the only thing that will actually result in change and improvement is if you commit to take action and actually implement this in your trading. And physically writing something like, yes, I commit, or something like that, that's a powerful motivator for yourself to help you follow through and implement this into your own trading. So go ahead and type yes for your own benefit as well as my sanity. Now that you can see how powerful and simple this is, will you start exploiting it? Are you going to take this and use it to your advantage? Are you going to start trading like the professionals? The answer's got to be yes, hasn't it? It would be absolutely insane to see this and then ignore it and go back to doing what you've been doing on single pair charts and getting the same results that you've always got. This has got to be the start of a new period in your trading where you've got a much brighter future. Now, let's ramp this up even further. I can't just leave it at that. I've got to show you how to do this and how to put it into practice. Okay then, so if you want to be able to see individual currencies, you need a tool that will split the market down for you. And it just so happens there is an extremely good one available for free on my site at CompleteCurrencyTrader.com. You can go to my site and in the tools section, you'll see a currency strength indicator. That's why I said this training would be so valuable to you, because not only am I showing you what to do, I'm even giving you the tools free of charge. Now, what that tool does is take each individual currency, like in this example that I've been using, and overlays them on top of each other like this, so that you've got a very simple and easy to use analysis tool that will allow you to instantly, with a single glance, compare which currencies are strong, which are weak, and which are flat. Now, I said I would show you a strategy that takes 19 seconds to implement in your trading. Well, that's what I timed myself to type in my website address and navigate to the currency strength page. Once you've got that strength tool open in your browser, you can use it immediately to give you a bird's eye view of the real market and each individual currency's strength and weakness to help you make well-informed, accurate trade decisions. And do you know the real beauty of this? You can use it and apply it to any system you like. Whatever system you currently trade or want to trade, whatever style you prefer, you can apply individual currency strength analysis to it and it will improve that system tenfold. This is such a fundamental principle that it is robust and it will work with every style and strategy that you can imagine. Now consider what this really means. Look at what everyone else is doing. They're all trying to find that missing link by getting more and more complicated. They add more and more indicators and they invent all sorts of new and fancy techniques that they think will give them their breakthrough. But whenever you try and over-optimize something or get too fancy, it ends up failing and eventually becoming obsolete. Just look at hedging. Think of all the traders that suddenly lost their strategies overnight when the regulators came in and banned that. There are thousands of complex and elaborate systems and methods that work great under certain market conditions for a few months, but eventually something changes and they crash and burn. But trading strength against weakness has been the simplest and most reliable fundamental principle since the markets began. Buy strength, sell weakness. It doesn't get any simpler than that, and that has always worked and will continue to always work so long as the markets exist. It doesn't matter how the market conditions change. When they go into a sideways range, you can see that and you can stay out and avoid the losses. And when they go back into trends, you can see that and you can get in. That's the true power of this technique. It allows you to see the real market and you can adapt accordingly so that you take fewer losses and you get more wins. If you want any proof of how simple and powerful this is, I'll even explain a simple system. I told you this was going to be a full and comprehensive training webinar. No doubt you've seen or heard of breakout strategies. Go on to any forum and look for the London breakout or the New York breakout. They are some of the simplest and most popular strategies. Basically, when a new financial centre opens, like London or New York, you have a bracket above and below the open price, and if the price falls and breaks out of the low of that range, you sell, and if it rises and breaks out of the high of the range, you buy. The idea is to try and take advantage of the early morning open momentum. It is an effective strategy, and it has been proven to work. But can you imagine how much more effective and profitable it would be if you only trade the breakout on a pair that has a strong currency matched against a weak currency? Imagine, instead of just picking the same pair every morning and blindly hoping for the best, you actually take a look at individual currency strength and weakness first of all, and you pick the best pair out of the whole market that matches a very strong currency against a very weak currency. Do you think you'll have a better win rate? Do you think you'll catch bigger moves? Do you think you'll be a more profitable trader? Are you seeing how simple and easily applied this technique is? It's not complicated at all. It's a simple trick. It's just common sense. I want you to stop for a second and think about what this ability will do for you and your trading. Imagine the confidence you'll have knowing that you can spot the best trends and avoid the choppy ranges. Picture the end of day results that you've got after you've implemented this strategy. It's more relaxing, it's a more profitable way of trading, isn't it? This is the way that I and other professionals trade. This is the simple edge that the shady marketers behind most of the Forex systems out there don't want you to know about. It's so simple to use, and it can make your life as a trader more profitable, more enjoyable, and more reliable. Your win rate will go up virtually instantly. You're laser targeting the strongest currencies against the weakest, which stacks the odds in your favour as though you're playing with loaded dice. Imagine the thrill of entering every trade knowing it has a higher probability of winning and you can profit more often than you lose. You'll be able to suck more profit out of winning trades by catching the best trends that run further and faster, enabling you to deposit bigger chunks of cash into your account. It won't be long before you've got that champagne on ice celebrating your ever-growing account balance. You'll say goodbye to all those long losing streaks and the drawdowns by actively steering clear of those choppy range-bound markets, which means unnecessary and excessive losses will be a thing of the past. You'll feel very smug knowing that you've got the skill to sit on the sidelines while the other less informed traders are still blindly getting chopped up in sideways moves and blowing their accounts. You'll be taking their money off them. The losing traders in the crowd will soon be funding your lifestyle. You'll eradicate the emotional roller coaster that comes with the wild swings up and down in your equity curve. With a higher win rate and fewer losses, you will have a much calmer, smoother ride. Stress will vanish and trading will actually become enjoyable. Now you've got to agree, well, that sounds good, don't you? I hope so anyway. Please let me know what you think of this so far. Use that chat box and tell me if this has been a worthwhile training so far. Have you enjoyed what you've seen? Has it opened your eyes to an easier way of trading? And has it shown you that actually success is absolutely within your grasp? It's not as difficult as you thought. The problem before was that you were just doing things the wrong way. It's a simple mistake that most people make, but now you know the right way. There's no reason and there's no excuse not to skyrocket yourself to improved results. And I'm just looking at the comments that are coming in, and they're all really good. So that is good to hear. I absolutely love teaching this stuff and passing on the advice that I was given. It was life-changing when I got told this stuff for the first time. It allowed me to ultimately quit my job, clear all my debts, and literally, as cliche as it sounds, to live the dream that we are all hoping for in trading. So you agree that this has been a valuable and worth, what have we done? About 30 minutes, so a worthwhile 30 minutes of your time. In that case, I know you'll be happy to get even more training from me. Clearly, you've watched the training so far, you've heard my story, you've seen how trading individual currencies works, and so you know that this can help you. But what I've shown you was quite quick, deliberately so, in order to give you the valuable key information without boring you. I wanted you to be able to walk away from this and use it immediately without spending all day listening to me if you didn't want to. I know how valuable your time is, but what I've just shown you is also just the tip of the iceberg. And if you're someone who's really committed to your own success, you may be wondering how you can implement all of this as quickly and easily as possible with a little bit more help to guide you along the way. So I've actually put together an additional 4.5 hour training experience for you where I literally break down the complete process and teach you a full comprehensive system, including giving you a number of automation and additional tools that will help you get the maximum benefit from this method. If you want more detailed training, you are going to love this. I don't think you'll have seen a deal like this before, and I'm pretty sure you won't be expecting what I show you at the end. So stay with me for this, because if you were impressed by what I've shown you so far, you are going to be absolutely floored when you see the next part. This will teach you all the details about this strategy comprehensively and give you a complete trading system designed specifically to work in harmony with this method of currency strength analysis. I've packaged it all up into 10 powerful video lessons that teach you everything that you need to know so you can operate like a professional in the real Forex market. And each lesson is approximately 25-minute segments so as to be the most effective way for you to absorb the material. Every short lesson is crammed with the must-know information that cuts straight to the chase. I've stripped it all back so that you only get the crucial points that will make you a more profitable trader. Lesson 1 unveils the full truth about the Forex market in much greater depth than I've been able to do for you today, so that you understand what the big players are doing and how the market really works. You will instantly see the full potential and the staggering opportunity in the market after this lesson. Lesson 2 shows you how prices really move in Forex and reveals a mathematically indisputable fact that proves prices are more likely to move in one direction rather than the other. Now imagine the thrill of knowing with certainty that the price is more likely to move one way rather than the other. Lesson 3 focuses on trade exits, because money is made or lost when you exit a trade, not when you enter. So before we go any further, I make sure I teach you the rare skills that will allow you to control profit over loss on every single trade. Lesson 4 shows you how to utilize the underused resource of professional money management so that you can avoid the painful losses that crush so many traders' dreams, and you implement the basic rules that will maximize your gains and minimize your losses. Lesson 5 is a complete tutorial on using the currency strength analysis tool. I'll show you how it works, what it looks at, and how it makes its calculations so that you can have total unwavering confidence in its accuracy and its reliability. You'll be using this to trade, so it is vital that you believe beyond any doubt that it does exactly what it's supposed to do. This is an advanced lesson on currency strength analysis. Lesson 6 then introduces you to the basic system rules so that you can develop the skills for correct market analysis and the trade entry. So you'll be shown what to look for and the exact conditions that dictate a trade entry. In lesson 7, I spend time with you walking you through various trade entry examples, showing you entry after entry so that the pattern that you're looking for becomes ingrained in your mind and you learn to recognize the conditions instinctively and can enter quickly without hesitation. Lesson 8 adds the money management and the stop orders into the system so that you know exactly how much money to risk on each trade and precisely where to place your pending stop orders. Lesson 9 shows you how to activate the power of a trailing stop so that you can lock in profit, reduce your risk, and increase the ratio size of your wins compared to your losses. The trailing stop is an ingenious tactic that enhances your already impressive edge, and then it helps turn this from a good system into a great system. And then lesson 10 is where I teach you all the intricacies of the system, such as what to expect under different market conditions, how to handle the news, when to cancel the pending orders, which market session to trade, and much, much more. I've been training aspiring traders since 2012, so I've had and answered every question imaginable. So I've addressed them all here for you so that you have a solution before you even have the question. I can give you all of that and you can get started right now, today. So how much is all that worth to you? How much would it be worth if you could learn from a currency strength trading expert with over 11 years experience, who was taught the cream of the crop secrets firsthand by some of the brightest bank and hedge fund insiders on the planet. What would you pay to be able to quiz a billion-dollar trader? How much would you put up for a chance to have lunch with the head foreign exchange trader at a London-based bank? What would you do for the opportunity to go for drinks with a market maker? I've done all of those things, and I can pass on what they told me and help you put it into practice for your own benefit. So what is that worth to you? Now, Complete Currency Trader is one of, if not the most expensive Forex education sites in the world, and deliberately so by design. We very purposely charge a higher price for our services for the simple fact that we believe we offer and provide the very best training that you can find anywhere on the planet. I charge $20,000 for a single day of consultation. People pay $3,500 to have a conference call with me for just a couple of hours to be able to ask me some questions. We sell training packages for $14,000, mentoring packages for $10,000. I bring with me a unique background and have privileged contacts with insiders, genuine insiders who know the ropes and dominate this game. Smart traders know the value of that and are prepared to invest to learn what I can teach them. So you're getting 10 video lessons totaling nearly 4.5 hours. And you know as well as I do that other sites sell this kind of thing for what, $200 or $300, and it rarely even has as much content as, well, what I've already shown you today for free so far. But I'm going to throw in a whole lot more to guarantee you get everything you need and more. In addition to the 10 video lessons, I'll give you a 57-page ebook that puts the entire system into an easy-to-reference written format for when you want to quickly refresh your memory about a specific point. The book will be a bit easier to pinpoint sections rather than scroll back through 4.5 hours of video lessons. You'll also get an entry indicator that sits on your charts and visually shows you exactly where to enter a new trade and where to put your stop loss so that you don't have to worry about figuring any of that out. It's already on your chart and you just need to place your orders where it tells you to do it. And to make it even easier for you, I'll give you an automated trailing stop loss manager that will actually move your stop loss for you and lock in the profits on autopilot so you don't have to fumble about with complicated order windows. You can enter the trade and then you can walk away and let this control everything for you. Then, of course, there's the bespoke individual currency strength analysis tool. Now, you already know there is a free version available on my site that you can use whenever you like. But I'll give you a version that you can download and install to your own trading platform. This is the secret weapon that enables you to step into the market with laser-like precision and grab the profits that are on offer. This pulls the lid back and it gives you a bird's eye view of what's happening behind the scenes in the real market. Now, this downloadable version runs directly in your own platform so that you are not reliant on my site. It gives you full control and it's customizable, so you can change the colors, etc., which you can't do on the free web-based version. What is all that worth to you? Now, what are you expecting me to say the price is? Let me know in the chat box. Most people would be preparing to get their credit cards out now because if you know Complete Currency Trader, you know we're expensive. If you look at the site, you'll notice there are no prices on any of the products. We're like those restaurants that don't have a price list. And you know you're in an expensive restaurant when the menu doesn't show prices. But you also know that you are in a top restaurant and you've got a Michelin-starred chef cooking for you. We're like that. We don't display prices because what we offer is invaluable to traders who finally want to master Forex trading. You can't put a price on the results that we can deliver. Now I can see the prices that are coming in and yeah, they're all pretty realistic, I think. So what would you say if I told you you can get all of this for just $9.97? That's not a joke, you did hear that right. I can let you have all of this for less than $10.